on, BTC.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 23rd of September 2024. We are a week away from October and the start of the fun and games. Before we begin, two things I need to let you know about. This Wednesday, we have a Mu stream where we go through all things Mu. We're going to talk about the project. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to look at about everything you can imagine about Mu. That is this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central European Time, 5 p.m. I think that's UTC. And we will be giving away Mu on the night. In addition, the following Wednesday, we will have our second Chronos night, where we will go through all things to do with the Chronos chain. So, next Wednesday and this Wednesday, depending on how you like to use your terminology, we are going to have 2 Wednesday night specials. Back to the show. What we're going to go talk about today, we are going to talk about Surge Me Baby. Again, slightly off topic, some of these today, but it's a Monday. Final break, Frankly Solly, Rasp Ripple, Raspberry wouldn't fit. 3 tokens to hold for 2025. Whether I agree with them or not is a different matter. And then, before the conclusion, I'm going to do a review of Pyth. Now, every once in a while, I will pick a project and I will do a quick review. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at Pyth, what it is. We're going to look at the website. They have an announcement from Solana Breakpoint that we're going to look at. We're going to look at the price action. So a bit of a Pyth review there. We talk about it from time to time. In all honesty, it isn't my favorite Solana-based project. However, it's a great project and the team are great. And no, none of that is sponsored. Title of the show today then, Can You Feel It? The end of the sideways action. I can feel it in my bones. Can we come back down to 60,000, 61,000 this week? Absolutely we can. But can we go to 65? Can we put in a higher high? Can we break the downward cycle of lower highs that we've had since about 1941? We need to go and see if we can do that. A few good mornings. I think Peter, Eugene, Danny, Bullish Bull, Hidden is in chat. Kishan, MD is in chat, and lots of others. Good morning to you all. I hope you had a great weekend. I didn't stream on Friday. The Oracle took my place, but I did put out some videos over the weekend. I put one pretty informative video, I would say, about Solana Breakpoint. And I tried to pick about 8 different things which I think are going to make a difference on Solana. Franklin Templeton, which we're going to talk about, the cards that you can now connect up to Solana so you can spend your Solana. That was another big one. There's just a general feel, and of course they've got the new validator software which is live. I'm just getting a feeling now that as we start to go through the next 12 months, that Solana is really making an effort to go after Ethereum. Not Ethereum in terms of like the market cap or anything like that, but in terms of the companies and the level of quality of companies which are going currently to Ethereum. So I'm just getting the sense that Solana have settled on trying to go after Ethereum, but that's just what I feel in my waters. Who else is here? Eugene, Chris, good morning. Danny as well. Don't want to make sure I don't miss anybody. I did like the video, Bullish, because it was 8 or 9 bits of content and then my thoughts in about 11 minutes. I try anything longer than 11 minutes. It's very difficult for people to stick to that. This day and age, people want 60-second, 2-minute snippets, and I can't fit it into that. Now then, let's have a quick look at the markets. Bitcoin coming in at 63.5, Ethereum 2,650. Decent, I would say. We were struggling away at 60,000 for a long time, 59, 59.8. Ethereum was down at 23.50, 23. Again, it's nice to come back to some recognizable figures. We're going to look at both of the charts in a bit. 24-hour gainers then. The Tenza is up Immutable X is up. I've got Immutable X and I bought it. I don't know what it was, but I'm probably going to sell my Immutable X if it keeps pumping. Aave is up 170. Render's doing well. Near is nearly back at $5. Pardon the pun. The graph is up a touch. Sui is still on a rampage. $1.55. Popcat is up at 91 cents. We only talked about it hitting $1 last week. Can it keep going? Stacks is up a bit. Few good gainers over the last 24 hours, and losers, not too many. Pendle, Celestia, Bonk is down a touch. Dupe, Cosmos, Notcoin, not really. A lot of losers as far as I can see. Morning, Kishan. Remember, if you are new here, smash the like button, say hello, and give us a follow. Bottom left-hand corner, we are 32,000 away from 200,000. I don't know if we're going to do it between now and the end of the year, but I think we're going to be close. If we can get to 190, 195, that would be amazing. And then we can start next year at around about 200,000. So that'd be great. Right, so let's get on with the X-Files then. We don't need to talk about volume and stuff like that on a Monday. We've got too much to get through. If it loads, of course. So, Lily Louis, I think she's pronounced. Breakpoint 24 again. She's kind of gone after the the biggish titles, but Solana had a fantastic breakpoint. That's what this is all about. I said last week that breakpoint is the event that pumps Solana. Ethereum, Bitcoin, general crypto events, they're not really targeted. Breakpoint this year, I would say, is up there as the greatest event of this year so far for crypto. Yes, we had Bitcoin, and we had, we've had Donald Trump, we had JFK, great. Sorry, RFK, great. But this was laser precise. This was everything good about Solana. And yes, in my video, I did say Solana are faking it until they make it. Good, because that's what most people do in life. And if they've got to go down a few times, if the software's not right, if there's questions over things, fine. But if they come out the other end and they are as big as they are expected to be, they're going to be a monolith. Sorry, not a monolith. They're going to be a what's the word for it? A unicorn. Matthew Highland, Bitcoin historically has seen major upside post-election. Are we going to see a good pump over the next 3 months? Everything is pointing towards a 20-25% pump in October, maybe another 10 or 15% in November, and then maybe another 10% in December. If you combine that all together, we should be looking at a 40% pump from where we are now. That puts us at $84,000, which is, I think, where the Oracle has said we're going to be. Everything is pointing to that. Breaking the all-time high or getting to the all-time high in October is the first target for October. The target this month is to try and break that lower high. Then 74,000 in October, and then hopefully we push on to 84,000 in December. And I know Peter and a few others are going to be selling in December, and that's perfectly fine. We're probably going to have a retracement from 84,000, but it's election year. We do quite well in these years. Moving on then. Now, this is the interesting fact that you can read other articles about stock exchanges. A good one that I talk about all the time is Tony Robbins. The worst 10 days in stock market history are normally followed by the 10 or 20 best days in stock market history. Now, in 162 months of Bitcoin being recorded since 2011, so what's that? Let's call it 13 years, 14 years. 27 months. 27 months. decided, I'm trying to think of how to say this, 27 months caused the majority of the upward movement of Bitcoin. So in 13, 14 years, 2 years worth of action moved the price up. So what's that? 1 in every 7 months. This is the problem with jumping in and out of the market, okay? The greatest traders in the history of the stock market are the ones that don't trade. Statistically proven. In fact, deceased people are the best traders because they don't trade. In crypto, especially as we get towards October, you need to have made that decision. I told you 3 or 4 weeks ago, your bags need to be packed. Now, that doesn't mean you can't add a little bit of XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin to your bags. If you're dollar cost averaging in, fine. What I mean is, don't get to October and see Solana pump 60% and then decide to sell your Bitcoin. You need to have conviction in what you're doing. And if you believe your portfolio is going to get you to the price you want it to be by the end of next year, don't do anything. Sit on your hands. If your bags are not packed, you've still got probably a week or two to sort them out. We're only at 63,500. We're not at 90,000 yet. And if you want to do what Peter does and have a fixed period of time, which is December, where he will sell and wait for a retracement, that is also a solid strategy. But have a strategy. What you don't want to do is go into October where everything is popping off, everything is going to the moon, and you decide for some crazy reason that you're going to sell your Ethereum and buy AVAX. Because I can tell you right now that you will buy the top of AVAX and it will retrace. And then Ethereum, the week after you buy AVAX with your Ethereum will pump. It is as sure as I am sitting here, that is what's going to happen. Have conviction in your portfolio. If you don't have conviction, then you have 2 weeks to sort your portfolio out. It's simple. You have the time to do it. So plan B, 27 months out of the last 14 or 13 years have decided the price of Bitcoin. That's really all it comes down to. Now then, let's move on. What's my opinion on ICE? Can it 10x? I've never heard of it. I would have to go and have a look at it. Now then, this is one for the Aussies out there. Monochrome Bitcoin ETF. Assets under management. Even the Aussies are in on the act. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, they have bought 8 Bitcoin. Now, it's not the 4,000 Bitcoin a week or a day that's being bought in America, but this is what's going to break the price structure of Bitcoin. All of these smaller ETFs, all of these whales, all of these blue chip organizations buying 10, 20, 50, 100 Bitcoin, they are what's going to break the back of Bitcoin. Bitcoin cannot sustain the amount of buying that is going on. And this might seem like a small amount, but this is the straw that will break the camel's back. Okay? Yes, you've got BlackRock and you've got ARK Invest and you've got them, but these ETFs in Canada, Australia, the UK have got their own version, Europe has got its own version, Asia. If you add up, remember, there's only 450 a day being made. 450 a day. If you added up all of these small ETFs, maybe that comes to 100 a day. They're taking 25% of the supply without the likes of BlackRock. So just be aware that it might be a small amount, but it is still an extra little chip away at that supply that we have of Bitcoin on exchanges, which is falling. And one day I'm going to sit here as the price of Bitcoin moons because we're running out of Bitcoin, and I am going to say, I told you so, because it's as obvious to anybody as night and day that we're running out of Bitcoin. At some point, one or two things will happen. The price will have to go up, or the supply and the demand will have to change. so that the supply can meet demand. Now, that normally happens when the price goes up. We shall see. Now, there isn't anything to talk about on this week, but I'm just making a note of it. We don't really have a lot. Optimism is up there as always. Pendle, again, these are fractions of the supplies, but this is token.unlocks.app. Now, again, I'm not sponsored by these. I look at it every Monday, see what's being unlocked over the course of the next week, and there really isn't. FET is always in there. Ajax is always in there. You're always going to see optimism in there. There's not a lot happening, so no nasty surprises for you this week on your coins. Now, let's move on to a couple of charts that we look at, or we try to look at every Monday. Good morning, KB. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are well. Be prepared. We've had a Hail Mary bounce on the Ethereum Bitcoin. Look at that. It has bounced off the lows of 0.038 and now we're at 0.41. Are we suddenly going to see Ethereum do this? Or are we going to see Ethereum do this? I think I know what's going to happen, and I think it's this one. I don't think we've quite bottomed out on Ethereum yet. Ethereum versus Bitcoin, I think we're still going to keep sliding for a little bit. That line is kind of a rough line of where I think it will probably bottom out. I'm going to have to get the Oracle to stop using black and white charts. So potentially we'll do something like this, and then somewhere around this range, Ethereum will start to break back out again. So why am I showing you this? Because I think we are getting close to the end of the capitulation of the alts against Bitcoin. And what I mean by that is, if we go and have a look at the Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance is still having its own merry little dance on its way to 60%. It's still at 56.7. We've kind of paused very briefly on the way. I think if we break up towards 65,000, then this will probably break back up towards 58.5, 59, something like that. Maybe wobble around there and then continue up to get to 60%, and then it will break down. It has broken down previously. We might go to 60.5, 61, 62, I don't know. But the higher the Bitcoin price goes, the faster that Bitcoin outpaces the rest of the cryptocurrency market, the higher Bitcoin dominance will go. But it will break down at some point. Now, the reason I showed you the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, the reason I'm showing you the Bitcoin dominance chart, is that this has been happening since March. In fact, we could probably go back a hell of a lot further if we want. We could probably go back to September 2022, which is 2 years ago. And this is the Bitcoin dominance line, which has been followed perfectly. And it's just going up in this kind of nice 30-degree incline pattern. And that's just Bitcoin gaining more and more momentum. And in the bull run, as Bitcoin goes up more and more, it's not about the price of Bitcoin in dollars, it's how well Bitcoin is performing against the rest of the market. There will come a point where Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, Solana, AVAX, Link, they will all start to outperform Bitcoin. And when that happens, when Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes from 60 to 66,000, that's a 10% pump. If Link goes from $10 to $20, that's a 100% pump. So even though both of them are going up in dollars, Link is outperforming Bitcoin. And if enough alts do that, then this line will start to break down. Because remember, this is not a race against the dollar. This is a race against market share of the pie. Bitcoin is 57.68% of the pie. It will probably get somewhere near 60% of the pie. I don't think it will get to 66 or 65. I think we're near the end. The reason I'm telling you that we're near the end is that for the last 2 years, the best thing to do is to buy Bitcoin. And yes, you've had Solana rip from $6 to $200. And yes, you've had Toncoin. They're exceptions, they're not the rule. So now we're going to get to the point where your alts will start to outperform Bitcoin. And that is where the alt season will really start to pick up. So yes, if you could follow somebody like Ben Cowan, who'll tell you to just hold Bitcoin, or Max Kaiser, just hold Bitcoin, or even Michael Saylor, that's great. And that will have worked really well for the last 2 years. But there'll come a point where the alts will outperform Bitcoin. And that's what we're keeping an eye on here. This period here is where we are watching every week. We are waiting for this. Now, potentially, this line is what will break to show us that we're on the way down. And again, these lines are not set in stone. We've broken below it before. You know, they're not even full stones. This line isn't supposed to be absolutely accurate. So just keep an eye on that. And then finally, the other thing that can have a big impact on the Bitcoin price and crypto prices in general is, of course, the DXY. We look at that every Monday. What's the DXY? It's the strength of the US dollar. Where are we? We are still rattling around at the bottom here. Now, there isn't a lot of information coming out this week. I can't wait. There is one that's coming out today. Again, we have had a small pump. We've come up from 100.5 to 101. It doesn't sound a lot, but it's a seismic move. I mean, we might do this, but what we want to see is maybe this. And we want to break down towards 99.6. Again, depending on what data comes out over the next couple of weeks, potentially the DXY has found its bottom. If you go along, you will see there's been previous times it's wicked down to there, but there's also previous times where it's wicked down here. So give us time, give us time. All we want from the DXY is we don't want it to rip up to 104. That would be really, really bad. Right then, let's move on very quickly. We're going to get on to the news now. And of course, throughout the news, we are going to look at the Bitcoin price, the Ethereum price, the Solana price as well, and then look at Pyth. We've got plenty of time. Veteran analyst forecasts a 400% Bitcoin surge against gold by 2025. Again, he's not reading tea leaves. He's not got a crystal ball. If Bitcoin goes on its merry way and goes up to 120, 160, 180,000, then that's a 3x. That's a 300% pump, 250% pump from where we are now. And of course, we're going to outstrip gold because gold will move 1, 2, 3, 5%. However, let's go into what he's talking about. So Peter Brandt, we've mentioned him a couple of times on here. He's predicting a 400% gain against gold. Author and crypto analyst predicted that Bitcoin would outperform gold even in 2025 in a post. He suggested that Bitcoin may rise by over 400%. He hinted at a continuous inverted H&S pattern, head and shoulders pattern, with the neckline at 32.5 to 1, the left shoulder at 14.2 to 1, and the right shoulder of the pattern forming a flag that could fall from high teens to 1. And there we go. So this is the Bitcoin gold ratio. I wasn't going to bring this up. Well, I was going to bring this up today, and I thought, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do Bitcoin gold. I think Peter Schiff would be too happy if he talked about gold on here. So aside from Brandt, Scaramucci expects Bitcoin to perform better than gold in the coming years, according to Anthony. The market cap will exceed goals in the next 10 years. Again, I don't like these kind of predictions. They are like climate predictions. They say things that are 10 years out. Again, we don't know where the markets are going to take us. We don't know. I think the best thing for Bitcoin to do is to try and establish itself as a mainstream asset, a store of value. That's what we want Bitcoin to be. Let's not worry about taking out gold over the next 10 years because there's a lot of conflict. There's probably a lot more pandemics. There's a lot of other black swan events in the world that could happen that might put Bitcoin back 5 years. So you can't really look too far into the future. Let's get to the end of this bull run first and see where we are. We are a long way from the 8 to 10 trillion that I think we're going to be at. We're at 2.1 trillion right now. I think 6 trillion was the last bull run. So we've got some ways to go. And predicting that Bitcoin will overtake gold in the next 10 years is wishful thinking. I mean, gold is the #1 asset in the world. I don't think Bitcoin is quite ready for that yet. Miners seek low-cost power, usually in areas with low demand. The presence of a Bitcoin miner who uses consistent amounts, we don't really care about that. Robert Kiyosaki, which we don't listen to him anymore. Remember what he said? He said that Bitcoin would be at $350,000 by August. So again, these so-called calls, key opinion leaders, what's their, the news today is fish and chip paper tomorrow. Take everything that anybody you hear says with a pinch of salt and make your own mind up. I say this to you all the time. Don't believe me. Don't believe Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you believed Rich Dad Poor Dad in June and you'd have put your mortgage into Bitcoin because he told you it was going to $350,000, what were we at? Were we at $58,000? So we got nowhere near it, did we? We were never going to get anywhere near it. So you can't listen to these people. Scaramucci predicting that gold will lose its #1 position to Bitcoin in 10 years' time is based on what? We can't keep going up forever on the price of Bitcoin. This could be the last great bull run in terms of the X return on Bitcoin. So again, don't believe all of this hype. I might sound like the most boring, negative, sensible, stoic person you'll ever hear on the internet because I'm not sitting here saying we're going to $1 million, but we're not. And we're not going to go to $1 million for a very long time unless something happens, a massive white swan happens. If Donald Trump says we're buying 5 million Bitcoin, then yes, potentially we could go there, but it's not going to happen. So Kiyosaki sought to end the comparison between gold and Bitcoin, responding to the question, which of the two is better suited for investment? He pointed out what matters is the most is one's holdings in these assets, how much gold one holds, how much Bitcoins. Again, my argument for holding Bitcoin over gold as a nation state is very simple. If another nation state trespasses onto your land, you've got to be very careful these days what you say. And has happened in the past, and they take over, and you've got gold, and it's in a vault. You've lost it, haven't you? They're going to transport it back to their own nation state. If you've got Bitcoin, you can move your entire nation's wealth to another wallet within 5 minutes. You don't need security guards 24/7 to look after the wallets that you have compared to gold. So there's lots of, it's easy to move. It's also easy to lose. Now then, we're going to have a look at the Bitcoin chart while we are here. I can't stand Scaramucci. Well, you know what, Eugene? I had an article which I was going to include today, and I didn't include it because it was too political. Not political as in taking sides, but there was a commentator who said Americans are too stupid to vote based on the economy. Now, that's very dangerous talk, and overselling and underselling and then insinuating that an entire nation is too stupid to make a decision is, well, what's next after? If you're too stupid to vote based on the economy, are you too stupid to vote? And that would be the end of democracy. So you can't do stuff like that. And I think it's also calling somebody underqualified to make a decision based on the economy. Well, a housewife or husband these days can tell you how much the shopping costs. They know when the shopping costs more. So to insinuate that Americans are too stupid to be able to vote on the economy is downright patronising and a disgraceful thing to say. But that's the way it's going over there. You know, if you're too stupid to vote on the economy, are you too stupid to vote full stop? Another article I read said, Americans are a threat to democracy. Well, you need to go and learn some history, my friend. And people like Scaramucci and Rich Dad Poor Dad that want to have these sound bites. Sound bites is what's killing conversation and debate, because sound bites are one-off sentences. Trump talking about dogs has become a song. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now then, the Bitcoin chart. I've been saying to you for some time that we need to break the bull market support band, which we have done. Now, what is dangerous is the last 2 occasions we had this action going on. Look what happened. We came up and we came down. We came up and we came down. Now, I'm not saying we're going to come down to, what was it, 49,000. I'm not saying we're going to come down to 52. But certainly we could come down to maybe put in a higher low. We could revisit this level here, which is at 58,000. We need to find support above the bull market support band, and we didn't do it. So if you look over here, I need a new mouse. I absolutely need a new mouse. This thing scroller is absolutely crap. So bull market support band is great for bouncing off to send you into higher prices. What it's really bad at is helping you when you're trapped. You get back above it, it pulls you back down. You get back above it, it pulls you back down. And again, if this happens, then look, more lower highs. So again, I'm not being a negative ninny, as some of you may think. I'm just saying we've done what we wanted to do. Break into the bull market support band, break above the bull market support band. And we can move some lines around so we can see where that is. That is coming in at 60, is that 62.6? There we go, 62.6, right. So if we do hold where we are, let's get rid of all these lines. We're never going to come back down there ever again. If we can do this, okay, if we could do that, I would be very happy. Find some support at the bull market support band. That would be a heavenly thing to do. Now, the RSI is high on the daily. The weekly, we've got, you know, it's coming back up. That's not a bad thing. 8 hour looks overbought. 4 hour is pretty high. But again, none of it matters. We need to stop this kind of, you know, I suppose, I don't know how you want to look at that. I just think that it's all well and good being at 63.6, but I think we got rejected at 64.8, 65 this morning when I was asleep, and we needed to break 65. So again, I am not being negative, but we do need to hold where we are. Even if it's for 2 days, just hold it. Hold 62.6. Just hold 62.6. That's $1,000 below where we are now. Just hold it, and then let's build some momentum to the upside and have a go at 65,000. That's all we can hope for. We feel it every day. Exactly. The problem with inflation is that it's not that the individuals are, you know, it's not the population that are thick. It's politicians talk as if they're thick. It's like, great, we've got inflation at 2%. No, you haven't. You've got year-on-year inflation at 2%, but you're forgetting the fact that prices are 30 to 50% higher than they were 2 years ago. That's what they all miss out. Oh yeah, it's great, we've got inflation down to 1%. All that means is that your $1 loaf of bread now costs you $1.50, and it means that next year it's only going to cost you $1.53. But it's still 53% higher than 2 years ago, because they have this runaway train of we have to have positive growth every year, year on year, because God forbid that prices came back down to $1 or $1.20, because that would be deflation and everybody would scream blue murder. But wouldn't that be good for you if your groceries cost 20% less than they do today? Of course it would. But they convince you that you're now, you know, we've got the economy back on track. No, you haven't. You've wrecked everybody. Mortgage rates are high, loan rates are high, food prices are high, gas prices are high, and they're trying to tell you that everything's okay. And then they say, well, actually, you're not clever enough to understand how well the economy is doing or how badly the economy is doing. I mean, come on. Ethereum is in its final stages of capitulation against Bitcoin, according to Ben Cowen. Ben Cowen. I didn't realize this. I just threw this one out, threw this one in there last night. In a new video update, Cowan tells his 513,000 subscribers that altcoins will bottom out against the Crypto King. I've literally just said this like 15 minutes ago. And it appears as if Ethereum is poised to stop bleeding against Bitcoin. I still think Bitcoin dominance is in an uptrend. Well, we've just seen that today. I think it will probably go to 60%. I don't think Bitcoin dominance has topped, which is why Bitcoin could go a little bit lower. I agree with that. I actually drew the same line. I think we can go on. It's not that we want it to go lower, it's the timing. If October is traditionally the best month for Bitcoin, and traditionally we'll do 20 to 25%, and Ethereum does 15% next month, everybody's going to be really happy that their $2,600 Ethereum is now $3,000. Yeah, but Bitcoin is $74,000. So Bitcoin will still outpace Ethereum and everything else next month. So I understand everybody holding their alts will be like, well, Ethereum's over $3,000 again, we're all happy. Not against Bitcoin, it will still lose value. And it's about timing. It's not about picking random numbers. If you follow that Bitcoin dominance chart, it tops out at 59% in December. If you follow that ETH Bitcoin chart, it bottoms out probably by 0.035 by the end of December. And they're just random lines in the sand. I've just picked the end of the year because that's the end of October and November, and December's good run for Bitcoin. So naturally, if we start to retrace in January, then the alts could catch ground. That's where I'm coming from anyway. There does exist a scenario where ETH Bitcoin bottoms before the altcoin market bottoms against Bitcoin. They don't all have to happen at the same time. I totally agree with that as well. And you'll see that with other alts. We've seen Toncoin pump a lot this year. We've seen Solana do quite well this year. We've seen other alts like Cardano and XRP not necessarily do as well as people expected. I don't know how low it's going to go, but I do believe this represents the final capitulation, and I do think it's going to bottom out relatively soon. He goes on to say that the worst case scenario for this outcome would be to bounce to the upside, followed by a lower low in December. Again, I tend to agree with that. And if we go and have a look at Ethereum, now we've just shown you that Bitcoin is above the bull market support band by about $1,000. So we're in our happy safe space now with Bitcoin. Ethereum is not in its happy space, and it's not in its happy place. And in fact, if you look at my line, I drew this. When would I have drawn this? Thursday, probably the last time I streamed. I drew this on Thursday. But wages haven't kept up exactly. That's the thing. But they don't want it to catch up. They don't want it to catch up. They don't want wage inflation to catch up because that will push up inflation again. They want you to stay poor enough to not go out and overspend. That's what they want. And then when the economy does well, they can take the foot off the brake, give more money back in lower interest rates to allow you to spend more. When the supply and the economy is pumping, they'll allow you to spend more. The people solely responsible for the state of your economy are governments. There's no other one to blame. You can blame what's happening in Eastern Europe. You can blame potentially what's going to happen in Taiwan. You can blame whatever you want to call the pandemic. You can blame all of those things. Your government is solely responsible. There's nobody else. They can try and tell you that, but there's nobody else. Now then, I drew this because I am a soothsayer, and this is what I wanted to see from Ethereum. And so far, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in 5 days, I've absolutely nailed it, haven't I? So Ethereum, unlike Bitcoin, is below its bull market support band. It's coming in. It needs to get to 2,850. So we're still another 5% maybe away from that. And then it needs to break above $3,000. And then it needs to do what I'm saying that Bitcoin needs to do. And that is to find support on top of the bull market support band. And then we can have a run back at $3,600. So it's playing out pretty much okay. But interestingly enough, we've also come back and touched at the underside of this channel that we have been in on Ethereum since March. So we're back up there. And again, these lines, what's strange about these lines is that they're just patterns. But if you look at these patterns, they do kind of have a semblance of support and resistance. Again, I'm not a technical analyst, and I never profess to be. I just show you previous price action and where I think we're going to go. And I think by October we could break up, certainly in Ethereum. But again, I don't think Ethereum is going to outpace Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to do 25% in October and Ethereum does 20%, then we're looking at over $3,000 for Ethereum. So we can still go up in Ethereum. I just don't know whether we're going to go up as much as we go up in Bitcoin. Now then, we've still got a good 20 minutes left. I'm really, really tired today. I made the stupid mistake yesterday of making 2 videos, editing 2 videos, and setting up a live stream for October the 1st. So I really should have had a break yesterday and not done any work, but that's the problem. Investment giant Franklin Templeton building on-chain financial services for regulated securities on Solana. Now, I'm not going to ruin the video I made about Solana for you, but I say quite a lot on this channel that you need to take new information on board and decide if it's going to change your opinion. And for a couple of months now, I've said Ethereum is for TradFi and Solana is for retail. So retail will come and play with the meme coins. It's cheap. The DeFi over there is cheap. But when you see big players going straight to Solana, there is a certain synthetic Bitcoin going to Solana. PayPal is going straight to Solana. Franklin Templeton is going to build directly onto Solana. You need to take all of this new information, and the majority of it came out Breakpoint and not too long before Breakpoint. You've got to take all of that new information on board and say, is this enough to keep the gas in Solana's tank to keep the price going up? Remember, the target for Solana, for me, by the end of this year is $400. And then the end of the bull run, depending on the ETF, $600 without, maybe $700 without the ETF, $1,000 with an ETF. And again, that comes with the caveat of when we're going to get the ETF, because Grayscale will dump the hell out of Solana. So if we go into an ETF at $450, mark my words, we're probably going to be at $350 within 2 months because of Grayscale. I can't understand the dumping of Ethereum. I can understand the dumping of Bitcoin because it was at a premium and they sold at a profit. But Ethereum had no premium or discount and they still dumped. So with Solana, 3rd time's a charm. If we get the ETF in February or March, which is unlikely, then I expect Solana to dump. And I'm not going to say it's going to come down to $50, but I'm not expecting the massive rip. However, by December next year, we would be back at those highs. However, if the ETF is launched in August and the all-time highs are going to be November time, then I don't think Solana can recover. I don't think it's got enough time. So anyway, Franklin Templeton are coming to Solana. This was at Breakpoint. Massive news. Mike Reed, for those of you from the UK, not the same Mike Reed. This is the head of Digital Asset Partnership Development, DAPD. He says that the investment giant's last step to completing its project is to file to develop natively on the Solana blockchain. We don't use third parties. We mint authentically on-chain. We do not have an off-chain book of records that we maintain. The record of ownership is the token itself. You own that token in your wallet, and that's your authentic record of ownership. Putting regulated securities on-chain, we do not need to go through all of that. All we will say is September 2024, the Solana has been added to the development roadmap. The big boys are coming to Solana. I'll point out the things that we like about Solana. Speed. We want to be able to move money around very, very quickly. The cost efficiencies of running this system on-chain are a benefit to both us as a firm and to you as an end user. Modern architecture. The standards used on Solana are extremely important to us, and we're working on development standards that we believe should be used across the industry. And lastly, the Solana team has been absolutely fantastic to work with, and their development tools are second to none. So, again, there's Mike Reed, not the Mike Reed that we all love and know. We have to see where this takes us. My video that I made, I also made mention to the fact that what I expected to happen was TradFi was going to build on Ethereum and then use the AG layer, CCIP, and basically have the interoperability of the EVM to connect to the blockchains. And that's not the case with Franklin Templeton. Now, this is only one. Okay, PayPal is only one. I get that. But it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe this is the first, not the only one. And then you've got to say to yourself, well, what if BlackRock end up being the only TradFi entity on Ethereum? What if everybody else goes to Solana? Now, this isn't going to affect the price of Solana and Ethereum today, tomorrow, or next year. But think 3, 4, 5 years down the line. Think about the fact that potentially Solana is going to be the home to retail-friendly DeFi products. You know, holding Solana gives you access to discounts on Franklin Templeton. Holding the Franklin Templeton version of Solana, which is another possibility. Maybe they have an FT Sol. You know, there's lots and lots of opportunity in the future, but this for me is, I think I called it a sea change. And the reason I called it a sea change was I was surprised that PayPal chose Solana. I was surprised. I wasn't aghast that it happened. I would have expected them to go straight to Ethereum because that's where the money is. But they didn't. They chose Solana. Franklin Templeton are not small. They're huge. So for them to choose Solana, that's more of a shock to me than PayPal moving there. And there's loads of other things going on Solana. You've got your new mobile phone, a Solana mobile phone. So you've got lots going on over there. And I think the FUD that we've seen before Breakpoint, I think that FUD just needs to go away now. I'm sick and tired of people on Twitter, Ethereum maxis having a go at Solana, Solana maxis having a go at Ethereum. It's just not needed. Now then, Ripple CTO denies XRP price suppression accusations, claims he would raise price if he could. Now, somebody in chat the other week was saying that XRP is never going to get anywhere because Ripple just sell. And I can't remember who said that, but somebody in chat said that. And, you know, like I said, we don't ban people on here for having different opinions. That's the point. If you disagree with something I say, tell me. That's the point, okay? Now, if you come on here and you call me all the names under the sun, I'm going to ban you. The same way if you ever did that to my face, I probably wouldn't be as accommodating. But if you come on here and say, I don't agree, XRP are dumping, and the chain's got no hope, it's spent 5 years and it's not been integrated or anything, you know, that's a different argument. And, you know, you've got to take everything on its merits. However, they do unlock 100 million XRP a month, and the majority of that goes into their treasury. But they do sell. And there was a massive sell, which was in March, I think, for $100 million or $90 million. And that was, and I said it at the time, that is probably payment to the SEC. And it ended up being payment to the SEC. That was their biggest dump. And that dropped the price 5-10 cents. And I think it was at 60 cents or something like that. So it did dump the price. So there is clear evidence that them selling pushes the price down. Now, they've responded to this. He would push the price higher if it was possible. His response came after ex-users revisited a comment made by the Ripple executive back in 2017. He contended that the price of the coin could not remain dirt cheap. He observed that if XRP were worth $1 per coin, a transaction worth $1 million would need 1 million XRP. If XRP soared to 1 million a coin, only 1 XRP would require for the same transaction. Higher prices make transactions more cost efficient. One crypto community member observed that XRP is still dirt cheap 7 years later at the same price of 59 cents. He said that $1 million worth of XRP still costs $1 million, suggesting that making $1 million payment with XRP would cost $1 million. In simple terms, the total cost of payments, yabba. Ripple is still the biggest holder, and it's known for unlocking 1 billion XRP. Oh, it's 1 billion, not 100 million. 1 billion XRP is unlocked every month. But they don't sell all 1 billion every month. That's something you need to point out. He personally owns XRP. In fact, he actually could propel the price of the Ripple promoted crypto higher. He would certainly do it. Again, the value in XRP for me is in its network effect and what it's going to be able to do and its potential. And I didn't like XRP for pretty much its entire life. I was never a fan of XRP. And then one day I read an article about 2-3 years ago, read an article about it and thought, I'm going to go and have a look at what they're starting to do now. And 4 or 5 years ago, I would sit here and tell you that XRP is trash. Don't buy it, it's a terrible coin. But again, as I keep saying, more information allows you to change your mind, and don't be a stickler. There is a difference between courage in your convictions and being presented with so much evidence that you need to change your mind. Okay? You can be presented with evidence to show that XRP is going to go to $1 or $10 or 10 cents. And you need to decide if you agree with that or not. It's not my decision to convince you. I'm only giving you the facts. Now, what I would say about XRP is, again, very similar to Bitcoin dominance, in fact. We started June 2022, 2 years ago, on this lovely trajectory. When did we break down? We broke down around the time I just told you they sold. They sold to pay off the SEC. And that happened around March, April time. And there was this dump here. And I think it was that dump. Maybe it was that dump. It was one of those two dumps. That was the sale. And since then, very similar to Bitcoin, but further ahead. Look at what we've done. We've broken above the bull market support band. We wicked below it. We came back up. We found it as support, and we're going up. So the next step for me is to get to this fib level, 63 cents, and get back into that channel. That's the goal for me. So if we can get up here, and that line is now outdated, so let's just drag that along a bit more. So if we can get back above there, and then what have we got to get to? We've got a couple of previous targets to get to, which are coming in about 73 cents, something like that. I keep drawing sixes rather than zeros. I'm not a... Anyway, so I think we've got to get back above this level here. So let's drag that line that's down there. So that's the kind of level we need to be looking at, 73.5 cents, around that. And again, I said this a few weeks ago, if we want to have a really good solid XRP run in the bull run, I think we need to be going into next year at about $1. Now, $1, 90 cents maybe, then yeah, I think we're going to have a good bull run. If we're going into next year at 59 cents or 65 cents, where are we going to go? $3? $2.50? I don't know. I just think we need to get into the next 3 months with a lot of these coins picking up the gains that they've lost over the last 6 months. And I think XRP, once October the 7th, October the 7th, I think it is, that's the end of the time that the SEC have got to appeal. I think we're going to see a pump on that day. And I think we could see 70 cent, 74 cent XRP by the middle to end of October. And then we're only looking at maybe a 30% move in the next 2 months after that, November, December. That's entirely possible. So $1 by the end of the year would be my target for XRP, or thereabouts. There we go. We've got a 96, 97 cent target for XRP. That would be a great target to get to by the end of the year, and then we can have a good bull run. Now then, moving on. How long have we got left? Crikey almighty. in the know. Yes, I am here. Ah, were you the person saying XRP was dumping on the market? Well, there you go. Well, they did dump on the market. They definitely dumped on the market in March because that's when they sold their $95 million. And if you think about that, they sold in March. That means that they knew, and the SEC knew in March, how much the fine was going to be. They clearly knew what the fine was going to be in March. So why did it take 6 months or 5 or 6 months? Why did it take that long to actually close the case? Anyway, we've got a couple of things to get through. I'm going to whiz through this one because I want to get onto the Pive review, and it's going to be pretty quick because we don't have a lot of time. So these are 3 tokens you should hold for, I imagine, for the bull run. And these are FET, Tau, and Solana. We'll take each one of these on merit. So ASI, what did we say that was at today? Wasn't that at something like 150? Let's go and have a quick check of ASI. I think ASI is not too far down here. There we go. So it's at 166. So again, it's going to rip. I made a prediction video for ASI and I said it'd be at $5. And that wasn't $5 at the end of the bull run. That was $5 sooner rather than later. And we absolutely tanked. They really messed up the token conversion and everything else. They really messed it up. But I think $4 or $5 for ASI is a solid price. And yes, it does give it a very large market cap. It would put it up here with the likes of Avalanche. I know, but I'm expecting the hype in the bull run as well to carry it along. So ASI needs to break through 165, which is the price it is now. It could go to $2 after that. I do think that it's going to have a solid bull run. I've been a proponent or a fan, of FET 2 years, maybe even longer. We had an AI special probably 2 years ago now, and we focused on singularity and FET and the role of AI in blockchain. That was 2 years ago. So I've been a fan of that for a long time. I think I've held the token since, I don't even know, over 2 years probably. So yeah, I totally agree with FET being one of your top coins. I don't agree with Potenza. Potenza is, it's a reward token for developers who build projects and submit them to, commit them to GitHub. I'm not a fan of it, but doesn't mean it's not going to do well. Potenza is, if you go and look, for example, at the AI category, it's right up there. I think it's in second position, maybe. Is it just behind NEAR? No, it's been overtaken. It was in second position, and now it's third. Again, full disclosure, I hold NEAR, I hold ASI, and I hold ICP out of that top list. I really like Render, but I'm not going to go out and buy every token I like. I really like Render. I didn't like Render until the partnership with Apple came along, and then I started to maybe see how they could leverage that relationship. The same way NEAR Protocol has a relationship with NVIDIA, I can see them leveraging that relationship. ASI is a combination of 3 AI tokens. They've already got an infrastructure. It's already being used. They're already making money. I like that. Potenza is a reward token in my books, so I'm not a fan. Anyway, and finally Solana. Again, I mean, it's difficult because you've got 2 AI tokens or AI related tokens, and then you've got Solana, which is what, the fourth biggest crypto in the world. Yeah, it'll do well next year. Of course it will. It's not going to 20x or 15x or 10x, but it will do incredibly well. It might, from here, what are we, 150? It could very well 5x, 6x with the ETF, 5x, 4x without. So again, it's going to have a good bull run, but I'm never going to sit here and tell you that Solana is going to go to $2,000. I'm never going to sit here and say that Potenza, which is not my favorite coin, is going to go, what's the price of it now? $550. So it must have absolutely ripped. It's up 20%. So again, I'm not a fan of it, but that doesn't mean it's not going to make any money. I wasn't a fan of Toncoin for a very long time. And that's the thing. Just because I'm not a fan of something, it doesn't mean it's not gonna absolutely rip to the upside. That's what you got to remember. My opinion is just my opinion, and I am going to be wrong probably 80% of the time. Let's just put that out there. Okay, these are my opinions, and I am going to be wrong 80% of the time. As long as you know that, you should be fairly happy with that. Right, I'm just bringing up all the links. This is the last thing I'm going to do on the show. I'm actually going to bring up the chart as well. There we go. Right, so let's wait for everything to load. There should be the chart. There are the oracles. That's the, right, okay, so why am I showing you this? This is the breaking news that came out of Breakpoint for Solana. What if you could get rewarded for protecting DeFi? Enter Oracle Integrity Staking, an upgrade to Pi bringing enhanced data source accountability for a more secure DeFi ecosystem. OIS, very difficult to say that, brings on-chain staking rewards and slashing mechanisms to the network. Now, there's a full long breakdown about this, which I'm not going to go into, but the news is that you can now stake your Pi and use it in two different ways. One for the DAO and one for securing the network. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you this because if I scroll down, if I go to stake, there we go, you will read that this browser that I use for the show, it won't connect to the staking platform. And I didn't want to do the entire stream over a VPN because we don't know what's going to happen with that. So I'm going to make a video about Pi staking. But it is there, and it's unusual. You can stake your Pi twice. Now, just for the record, so you're leaving everything for the Oracle. I'm not doing that, Tariq. So, full disclosure, I bought $50 of Pi over the weekend to demonstrate the staking to you. So I am going to make a video about that so you can see it. But if you hold Pi on a blockchain, so if you hold Pi on an exchange and you've been holding it for a while and you don't know what it is, or you don't know why you're holding it, you bought it because everybody says it was a good idea. I'm going to very quickly go through it now. So first of all, this is a blockchain oracle, and it's mainly known for providing prices for different cryptocurrencies and providing it across different blockchains and also different platforms. So for example, Jupiter will use the Pi data for giving you the price for Solana, for example. The ones that are scrolling across the bottom of the screen now will also show you their partners. So it's real-time market data anytime, anywhere. There are 500 data feeds, 410 apps using it, 75 blockchains use Pi. That was the number I was looking for. And down here, you've got all the people they deal with. You've got every feed on every chain. So if you are on Solana and you see a website that's showing you the Solana price and the Jupiter price and everything else, that data will come from Pi. So they provide data, and obviously they get paid for providing that data. But they do a lot more. They also have smart contracts, are very similar to Chainlink. They are the closest thing to Chainlink that you're going to see. So now you kind of know what they are. They have the products down here. They've got price feeds, benchmarks for market data, entropy, which is random numbers for smart contracts. We're not going to get into that, something for the Oracle to talk about, and Express Relay. The ecosystem, you can go and see the data providers, the metrics, all of those kind of things, developers, all the tools that you need to go and build, whether you want to build it on the Ethereum virtual machine, Solana, Aptos, Sui, near all those different blockchains have got that. You've got your resources and you've got your blog. So, I mean, I don't want to go into too much depth. The long and short of it is that they are a data provider and they help to also secure various different elements of different products. So let's stick with data provider. So we can't see that. So let's look at comparison. So these are the top Oracle tokens by market capitalization. Now, again, full disclosure, I hold Chainlink. I don't hold anything else on this screen apart from the $50 I've just told you about for Pi. When I got my Pi airdrop, I sold it. And I'm going to go into the price now and explain why. It's coming in at 32 cents, just under 33 cents. Look at the market cap. It's only got a $1.2 billion market cap. Very small market cap, considering what it does. And if you compare it to the likes of Chainlink, that's only coming in at 7.1 billion. But Chainlink was over 12 or 13 billion in April when it pumped up. So you could clearly see Pi potentially going to $1, $1.50, $2 in the bull run. Because again, the more money swirling around in the ecosystem, the more valuable these types of tokens go. So, for example, when Solana goes to $250, that is, let's say, for argument's sake, a 60% pump from where we are now. Jupiter, Pi, the meme coins on Solana, they will rip by more than 60%. Some of them will go up 300 or 400%. Some of them will go up 200%. Pi will go probably over $1 quite easily. So if you're looking at the oracles, it's the third largest oracle that you can get. Potenza, again, I'm not a fan of that. I probably need to go and do. I did a video about Potenza and I just wasn't impressed with anything about the project. I might need to go and look at it again. Maybe I looked at it too soon to its launch. Maybe I need to make an update video. But for me, Pi is certainly number one. It's certainly number two. And then further down, you've got things that are missing. Like, for example, I don't know why the graph isn't listed on here, but it's not. So third biggest, and now we get on to the important bits, and that is the price. Now, as I said, I sold somewhere in there. Don't know where it was. 80 cents, 85 cents, that's where I sold. I didn't get the top, I certainly didn't sell it. In fact, what I would probably say is I probably sold it somewhere there on the run up. So let's say I sold it for 80 cents. Why did I do that? Because this was a hype launch. This was a launch where everybody was given the tokens for free. If you interacted on Solana over the last 4 years, you were given Duke tokens and you were given Pi tokens. I sold them, immediately sold them, and I sold them for Solana. And then what I did with that Solana was I staked it, okay? And that doesn't mean it's a bad project. Because you sell something, it doesn't mean you don't like it. It was a good time, in my opinion, to sell it. And fortunately, it's been proven right. Now, what's happened with Pi is that it's found its price, okay? And it's rattled around here between about 25 cents and about 33.5 cents. And we've been stuck. If you look, we can't quite break this figure, but the bull market support band has come down to touch it. So what I think is going to happen, given this news, when a token has a new staking feature, it will naturally go up in value. The best example in recent times is BNB. There were new staking features launched for BNB, and the BNB price has gone from $200 or $300 to, are we at $500 now for BNB? Something like that. So of course it works. Now, it will take some time. This news only came out on, I think, Thursday last week. We're on Monday. This is going to take time as more and more people start to buy Pi to lock it away for the yield and the fact that they think it's going to go up in value. So what do I think we need to be doing? I think we're certainly looking at 40, 45 cents in that range in the short term, especially if Bitcoin pumps or goes up 5%. That's fairly small fry, but that's still a pump. I think Pi will go up. The breakpoint news from Solana will take a few weeks for it to be digested. And I think Pi holds a lot of value, and it holds a lot of money-making opportunities, revenue-generating opportunities. So for me, I can certainly see a 60, 70 cent Pi in the very near future, certainly $1 in the near future. I don't think it's going to, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to $20. It's not going to go to $20. Maybe it tops out about $3 or $4 in the bull run. That's still a 10x from where we are now. And again, it's for me, it's the understudy to Chainlink, and Chainlink is the superior coin. But Pi should be in your portfolio if you want a bag of Oracle tokens. Again, don't just go and buy random coins. What's your strategy? For me, Pi is solid. I've only bought it to show you how the staking works. I haven't held this token since I sold it at 80 cents or whatever it was I sold it at. So my money is on Chainlink, because at this moment in time, I want the biggest, baddest horses in the race. I don't want the $1.5 billion coins, unless they're coming up on the out, you know, like Ondo, for example. But again, go and check out Pi. It's a solid coin, and I've completely overrun. Oh, right. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining me. I'm going to go. I've overrun. Hope you enjoyed the Pi video. Go and check them out. Again, not sponsored. None of it is sponsored. The only sponsor we have is, of course, Mew. And on Wednesday, the 25th, this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central European Time, 5 p.m. UTC, we have got a Mew giveaway night on Wednesday. The following Wednesday, we have a second giveaway night, which will be about the Kronos blockchain. What is it? What's happening over there? You know, what tokens are there? But for me, the Mew night is the closest one. It's 2 days away. Make sure to go and check that out. It's in the calendar of events. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe, and do that good stuff. And until tomorrow, see you later. Don't forget, the Oracle is streaming tonight at 9 p.m. 9 hours from now, the Oracle will be streaming. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Tariq. Thank you, In the Know. Eugene, everybody else, you've been great. See you in the morning.